This is our 4th day of sesshin here at the Quaker Retreat Centre on Lake George. And I came across a line yesterday. I didn't have a chance to read anything about it, but I just liked the line, so it kind of formed the basis of today's talk. A coin lost in the river is found in the river. A coin lost in the river is found in the river. When we lose something, the best place to look for it is the place where we lost it. But I think often we don't know where we lose things. We don't know where and we don't know when we lost something. And then we have great trouble finding it because we don't know where we lost it. And sometimes we don't even know that we've lost something. It might be a bit of a hollow feeling that we have, but we don't know that we've lost something. There's a restlessness because something's lost or seems lost. So if we don't know where we lost something, we don't know when, and we don't know where, then we often searching all over the place. We're searching around trying to find something, the thing that we've lost, and we don't know where to look. But if you lose a coin in the river, then the best place to look for the coin would be in the river. But often we don't. We look for it somewhere else, up on a rocky ledge, or in the nearest town, or in some other country, or maybe through some other people. Often we look for what's missing through other people. Like classically through a partner, or sometimes through our career, but even through like a dharma teacher. Could look for something there. But where we should be really looking is just looking just here in the river of our own life, just in the river of our own life. Now, I like this image of a river in general. My teacher Kokyo would often talk about ourselves as a stream of consciousness. I think it's just a beautiful image of ourselves as a river. Because a river is always moving. It seems quite distinct. You know, you can identify it. There is the river. I can see that river. It is a big river. It is a little river. It is a slow-moving river. It is a fast-moving river. But we can't actually pick up that river. We can't get hold of that river. We can't define it. We can't repeat it. We can't put it in a container. So rivers are kind of good image just for ourselves. We are this thing that has a name. Rivers often have names. And they come to exist because of all the ways in which water flows down various surfaces or bubbles up through the ground, just like we are who we are based on all the causes and conditions of our life, our parents and our education and our culture, century that we live in and so on, all these things. So rivers are a really good image just to think of ourselves as like a river. It's a nice balance between form and emptiness. We are a river, but we can't get hold of ourselves. We can't define ourselves. And our mind is, I think, thinking of our mind as like a river is kind of helpful too. There's just this stream of consciousness, just this flow of thoughts. It's not that there isn't a flow of thoughts. There is a flow of thoughts. But we can't grab onto them. They just keep passing. They keep passing. So just this image of a coin. You know, coins are shiny and beautiful, like a big golden coin, sort of like a mythical type of a coin. If you think of it getting tossed into a river, it tumbles and turns with the light reflecting on it. It's kind of a beautiful thing. I remember as a child, I would dream of the waves rolling in on the shore with lots of gold coins. And I would run down and collect the gold coins, or try and collect them. In dreams you can't always fully do things. But they were beautiful dreams of coins rolling in with the waves. I think these were a sort of a comforting dream that I had when I was feeling stressed as a child. I had dreams of finding coins, finding treasure. Yeah. And so here I am as an adult finding treasure of the Dharma. Yeah. Not bothering to chase literal coins. That would be a bit unfortunate. To travel literal coins would be unfortunate. But to search for the Dharma jewel is a wonderful thing to do. And we search for it right there in the very river of our lives. It was already there. It was there from the start. We lost it a little bit somewhere along the way. I was thinking about my 3 grandchildren, aged 4, 6 and 9, and the 4-year-old still doesn't care what clothes he puts on. He just wears whatever he wears. He wants to be Spider-Man, he puts on a Spider-Man thing. He wants to wear bluey t-shirt, he puts on a bluey t-shirt. Or whatever he's into, he just wears whatever he wants to wear. Whereas the 6-year-old is now at the point where he's a little bit worried that the other boys might laugh at him. So he's a little bit more cautious about what he wears. In the morning before school, he has a little bit of a thought. Not too much, he's not too fussed. He's a bit fussed about what he wears. And the 9-year-old is very aware of her clothing and what that might mean to the other girls in her class. So she's very self-conscious, not in an altogether bad way, because it's good for us to be aware of social norms and how to engage socially. But you can sort of see this difference. The 4-year-old isn't yet really too concerned about what other people think of him. He's just inspired by his life and his own imagination. And he just does stuff and runs around the house very excitedly, jumping off furniture, avoiding the lava, and doing those sorts of things, totally into his own happy world, not worrying what anyone else thinks of him. Whereas the 6-year-old's starting to become more aware of these things, and the 9-year-old is very aware of these things. So it feels a little bit like somewhere along there, some of the coins are getting lost. They're falling, tumbling down into the bottom of the river. It's a little painful to watch how that happens. But so we have the Dharma to help us discover that the jewel was always there, never went anywhere at all. Our true nature is always here, and our very life is exactly the perfect life for awakening to the jewel of the Dharma, of our true nature. And there's a story in the Lotus Sutra, which some of us may know. It's a story of 2 men getting together, old friends. One of them has a bit of a drinking problem and drinks too much, and the other doesn't drink too much, just a little bit. And eventually the man who's been drinking too much becomes drowsy and groggy and falls asleep. And his friend decides that he needs to head off and do some other things, but he wants to leave something for the drunken friend. And so he sews a beautiful jewel into the hem of his jacket, of his coat. And then off he goes. And the drunken man wakes the next day and doesn't notice the jewel in the seam of his coat. And his life kind of tumbles along, getting work here and there, not really being able to make ends meet very well. Kind of a difficult life. Turning to alcohol to fill the void, trying to get on top of things but can't quite, just restlessly moving through his life year after year after year after year. Things not really working out, not being very happy. And then really later on, the two of them re-meet again, 20 years later. And his friend says, "What's happened to you? You look so downtrodden and stressed and unhappy." And the man says, life's just so hard. It's just so hard. I can't. I've got a terrible life. And the man says, "But what about the jewel?" And the guy says, "What jewel are you talking about?" He goes, "It's there in the hem of your jacket." And the man feels down and feels this thing in his jacket, and he undoes the stitching and pulls it out, and it's this beautiful jewel. It was there all along, the whole time. He was dragging his jacket through the mud and the rain and in the cold and in the heat of the day and the humidity. This jewel was with him all along. So, in the fable, of course, he sells the jewel and then has enough money to live on for the rest of his life. But of course, it's not about money. Yeah, it's not about money. It gets a little hard for us to really, really trust that we are okay and that this is the perfect time and the perfect place and we are the perfect being to wake up to the nature of things. We don't need to add anything to ourselves, we don't need to subtract anything. I think it often takes years and years of practice to really realize that. It just takes a long time. I remember having a lot of hidden shame in myself. It just took years of practice to kind of let it go. There's a koan from the Miscellaneous collection. See if I can remember how it goes. You've been searching in the darkness. You've been searching through the darkness of the abandoned grasses in a single-minded search for your self-nature. Now, honoured one, where is your nature? Searching in the darkness, in the field of abandoned grasses, in a single-minded search for your self-nature. Now, honoured one, where is your nature? I like this image. I think of somebody, myself, in the dark, a bit of moonlight. There's all of these grasses with dew on them and it's kind of cold and misty. It's sort of wading my way through all of these abandoned grasses, searching for myself. Searching for myself. And while I'm searching for myself, I'm moving my arms and I'm moving my legs and I'm using my eyes and I'm hearing maybe some owls or tawny frog mouths, the wind and the moisture from the grass is getting on my clothing, and I'm still searching as if I'm trying to find something somewhere. Why am I searching somewhere? I'm already right here. Why am I searching in these abandoned grasses? As if I'm trying to get through these grasses to somewhere else, trying to get somewhere over there, whereas right here in these grasses, they're abandoned because we don't recognise them as it. And what I love about this koan is it then says, now honoured one, where is your nature? Now honoured one. So it says, honoured one. There's the real hint in this koan about what this is about. Now honoured one, where is your nature? The jewel is already in the seam of our coat. The coin is just right there in the river, right in front of us. Sometimes when I think back to these dreams I used to have as a child, I kind of feel like it was little bits of dharma sparkling through my consciousness. That I felt like I was not an okay person as a child. And then I have these dreams of these beautiful coins splashing up onto the shore. As if I was somehow, part of myself was saying, you are okay. You're great, actually. You're okay, you're great. No need to worry about what other kids think about what you wear at school. I don't know if that was a concern that I had. It probably was. But all those concerns that we have about what others think of us. It's our imagination of others. It's not others, it's our imagination of others. What they think of us. We chant the women ancestors in our afternoon service, and the last one that we chant is Acharya Chiono. So there's a koan about her in the hidden lamp. I've spoken about this one before. We can always speak about things same things over and over. That's what we do. Over and over and over, we talk about the same things, year in, year out. That is why, actually, when you go to big temples and there's lots of senior teachers, they're all asleep. They're just nodding off on the Dharma talks. Oh, they're sleeping through another Dharma talk. 3,000th one. It's kind of funny. But every Dharma talk is fresh. Every Dharma talk is new at the same time. No repetition whatsoever.
Not to be a beginner. It's everything.
That's right. Beginner's mind. No repetition, just repetition. Okay. Chiono's no water, no moon. Chiono was a servant in a Zen convent who wanted to practice Zazen. One day she approached an elderly nun and asked, I'm of humble birth, I can't read or write and must work all the time. Is there any possibility that I could attain the way of Buddha even though I have no skills? The nun answered her, in Buddhism there are no distinctions between people, there is only this. Each person must hold fast to the desire to awaken and cultivate a heart of great compassion. People are complete as they are. If you don't fall into delusive thoughts, there is no Buddha and no sentient being. There is only one complete nature. If you want to know your true nature, you need to turn toward the source of your delusive thoughts. This is called Zazen. Chiono said with happiness, with this practice as my companion, I have only to go through my daily life practicing day and night. After months of wholehearted practice, she went out on a full moon night to draw some water from the well. The bottom of her old bucket, held together by bamboo strips, suddenly gave way, and the reflection of the moon vanished with the water. When she saw this, she attained great realization. Her enlightenment poem was this. With this and that, I tried to keep the bucket together, and then the bottom fell out. Where the water does not collect, the moon does not dwell. I picked this koan partly because of the instruction from the elderly nun where she says, people are complete as they are. So Chiono goes to her and she's a servant, so she's uneducated, she's of a lower status, but she wants to practice. So we can think of that in ourselves, of whatever our shortcomings are. We can think of those as being a little bit like Chiono feeling like she wasn't worthy. But we might feel that we're not worthy for all sorts of different reasons. People often don't feel worthy for all sorts of reasons. They don't feel smart enough, they don't feel attractive enough, or whatever it might be, all the various reasons. People don't feel worthy. So she goes not feeling that maybe it's not possible, but it's really beautiful that she feels that she might be able to, that she actually asked. Like, could it be that I am a Buddha? Could it be? And the old nun obviously very much encourages her. And part of her encouragement is people are complete as they are. If you want to know your true nature, you need to turn toward the source of your delusive thoughts, and this is called Zazen. So this is like what we're doing here. I don't know that we're constantly focusing on our delusive thoughts, but we are noticing them when they do arise and letting them pass and having compassion towards them. And we're also enjoying the incredible beauty of this place. It's a little bit of a shame that we can't draw this curtain right now, because if we drew the curtain then we wouldn't be able to see the altar on the recording, which I wanted to get the altar in our recording. But there's this beautiful big lake, great big lake out there. So it says, with this and that, I tried to keep the bucket together. A lot of people really resonate with this line. With this and that, I tried to keep the bucket together. It's that sense of like the difficulty of our life, trying to sort of figure out who to be and how to be it and what next goal to try and meet, and just going on and on like that. And we all have that sort of quality to our life, and it's okay. But if we're tilted too far that way, then life is hard. If we're really trying to keep sort of an idea of ourselves as a particular thing, if we're trying to keep that together, we're really going to have a pretty hard time. So with this and that, she kept her bucket together for quite a long time. But then the bottom fell out. Yeah, and for me, this feeling of the bottom falling out of the bucket is like, oh, just a release, just a complete release, all that effort. Just don't worry about it anymore. Just don't worry about it anymore. And then you can just breathe, just respond. Just enjoy. Yeah. Let go of all our neurotic ideas about ourselves, or all our judgments about others, if we're more tilted that way. People seem to be tilted one way or the other, self-criticism or other criticism. It's actually better to be self-critical, because you're more likely to be able to let go of that. If your tendency is to be critical of others, it's harder. Definitely harder. So if your tendency is to be self-critical, then you can think, great, that's good, that's workable. It's easier to work with. If your habit of mind is like, I think I'm a little bit better than all those idiots over there. If that's your habit of mind, oh, it's going to be hard. To find a really excellent teacher to break through that. Lots and lots and lots and lots of Zazen, so that you have calluses if you've got that tendency. So we can be grateful if we're self-critical. It's a far, far better place to be. It's totally true. Where the water doesn't collect, the moon does not dwell. And that's when we can let go of any fixed ideas that we have about ourselves and others, and relax completely. Relax completely. Well, I think that's all for today. I'm going to turn the recording off and we can have a chat.
We can have a chat with the recording going.
Well, I don't know if the sound will come through so well.
Right.